Hi everyone, this is Rachel over at Moonlight Library. Back again for my October wrap-up. It is a little late because LPC, my cat, ate my microphone. He's right now eating something else. LPC. He ate my microphone. He knows what he did. He's very upset and sad that he did it. But, we all make mistakes. And he's learned his lesson, maybe. So anyways, I had to buy a new microphone. So here we are. Something I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to, since we're now in November and I want a little thematic spice to the books I'm talking about. A little theme, little spice. And that spice is going to be, I'm going to bring up what I was grateful for in each book. And that's going to be my November thing for my October books, since November is Thanksgiving for us in the United States, where I live. I reside there. Yes. So I read 9 books in the course of October, three were graphic novels, a couple listened through audiobook. I only own one of them. I will start with the books and then go to the graphic novels. And also I'm going to order them in least favorite to favorite, because I only have one that I was like, whoa, this is such a bad book. Like, this is a bad book. This is the epitome of a bad book. That book, the epitome of the bad book, is Sisters by Daisy Johnson. It got 1 star. I just open up with that star rating. I looked at the cover and my friend told me, she was like, looks like a book you might like. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go, yeah, okay, fine. I'm gonna read this. Looks creepy, looks weird, looks fun. Sisters, weird, fractally. I didn't read the synopsis. I just went in, I opened it up, and I started reading. On the first page, I made a guess as to what would happen in this book, and I was completely correct. I was completely correct in a bad way, like a very bad way. Like, how did I guess this so well that it's just like the whole book, basically nothing happens, or I guess things happen, but if you can guess the book without reading the synopsis on the first page / cover and be like, this is what's going to happen, here's your twist, is it a good book? Because it didn't hide shit from me. It's about these 2 sisters and a mom. Something happens at school with these sisters. I thought they were like 12. Turns out they were like 16, 17. They're within a year of each other. They're called September and July. Those are their names. Mainly follows July, but then it kind of like different sections will follow other, like the mom or something. And, whew, oh my god, September was like the worst character ever, like just the worst, like horrible, like how, and then, just, if you read it, you know, and you probably feel most likely the same way I did, because I was offended by this book, by how bad it was and stupid it was. I'm so sorry, Daisy Johnson, if you are listening to this YouTube commentary. I'm sure you could write a better book than this. Just gonna say. It was so bad. It wasn't good. It's like something bad happened at their school, and then they moved to this other house that's like the mother's sister-in-law's house, where they had lived a long time ago, back when the father was still in the picture. She wrote these characters like they were like babies, like little kids, and then stuff happens where you're like, wait a second, aren't they 12? And then you figure out, no, they're not 12. Definitely not 12. And it was not good. It was not good. It's not a YA book either. It is like a general weird fiction book. Not a recommendation. Never a recommendation. Don't, like, If you look, no. So for sisters, I would say what I was grateful for in this book is the fact that it ended. Yeah, just that. That's it. The next book I read was, or the next one in my tier listing is a big jump because I did like this book and I did like a good amount of the books I read this month. Like, I liked most of them. The next book I read was Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. And this is the second Riley Sager I've read. The first one was Home Before Dark. It's right there. I just happened to put it there. That's so weird. I really loved Home Before Dark. I guess I'm working backwards. Lock Every Door was interesting, to say the least. I had already had it spoiled to me what happens in the end. So I think that when something's spoiled, it's different from guessing it towards, I'm all over the place with my opinions on whether or not I should know the ending of a book, because this one still held my attention. It was interesting. I didn't know how we would come to the conclusion that it did. It's about this girl, Jules, who needs a job in New York. She finds a job as a apartment sitter at this, like, very nice apartment, like high end. I don't remember, is it called a Bellevue? I think it's Bellevue. And so she starts working there, and there's some creepy stuff going on. There were apartment sitters before her that had gone missing. There's some weird people there, and it's a mystery about, like, what's going on. Is anyone safe? Is anyone safe? I don't know. So I guess I do know because I did read the book. But I knew the ending, so I was like, this isn't what... It's like, I wanted something more. I wasn't surprised. Maybe I shouldn't read books that I know the ending to. But then again, I saw Gone Girl, the movie, before I read the book, and I enjoyed that. So, who knows? Theories don't work on me. No. Oh, did I tell you I gave Lock Every Door 3 stars? Because I liked the book. For Lock Every Door, I would say the thing I'm grateful for in this book was the main plot line. I wasn't as keen on, like, the Jules's backstory thing or her family thing going on. I like the main plot line more. It was just kind of more intriguing. Oh, I forgot to say something about Lock Every Door is I had a problem with the fact that no one, like, okay, I know how technology works. Most of us do. If you're watching YouTube, I'm assuming you know what technology is. And in this book, it was like, there's this key plot points that were happening and, like, things figured out based on people, like tech whiz, can't even figure out this, like, simple thing that has to do with, like, is this a spoiler? I don't know. Having to do with, like, notifications on a phone of a certain type that are, like, very obvious, like, so obvious. And it's like, oh my God, I found something else. And I'm like, you didn't see that in the log before? You didn't see that before. And this happens, like, twice. And you're like, do you not know how to read? Do you not know how technology works? It just seems a little weird to me. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents on that. And that's partially why we knocked it down. Because, come on. So our next book is going to be Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. This is where we're shooting up. We're shooting up in the scores. Because I gave this one a 4. I was really in the mood for, like, scary, weird, horror, whatever. At the time that I started this, it was after I had finished Lock Every Door, which was, like, not very horror, It's something that rolled over from September into October. And then I was also reading Sisters, which was, like, not holding me. And then I started reading Head Full of Ghosts. And I was like, oh, like, this is pretty good. I'm pretty creeped out. I like possession stories. I like things like this. It's about this family, and they're the Barretts, and they end up with the TV show because one of their children is possessed by who knows what. And it's mainly following the youngest Barrett, Mary. They're two sisters. Mary's the youngest, and then Marjorie's the possessed one. She's a teenager, and Mary is like a little young girl. And it's her perspective on what's going on, but it's also her perspective as an older person being interviewed for a book about what happened, talking about the TV show. It's very like layered and stuff like that. I like it when things are kind of made up like that, where you're looking at it from her perspective as a kid, but then you're also looking at it from her perspective as an adult through her lens of not really remembering, but having seen the TV show and going really in depth into like, what was that? You can see that in my How I Liked Home Before Dark. That's basically the same sort of like setup, is looking back and then also what was happening too. So I liked it. I liked that. I was like, yes, yes, yes. It was scary. It was creepy. It was like not the scariest thing I read this month or October, but definitely pretty creepy. One thing I'm grateful for Head Full of Ghosts, is giving me the first scares that I wanted from this month, from October. The first little tidbits of fear that I was like grasping at. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I read that one before I read another one on this list. Anywho. So number 4 is going to be We Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. And I am a big fan of Grady Hendrix. This is only the second book I've read of his, but I read My Best Friend's Exorcism before this, like years ago, and I really enjoyed that. We Sold Our Souls was what? Metal, horror, weirdness, music, demons. Yes. Like, yes, that's what I wanted. This is it. I read this towards the end of the month. It's about this woman named Chris. She's like older at this time, years after her metal band had broken up, and like she was like shunned from, or like cast out from them basically. Like she did something bad, and they had transformed into another metal band. They're like, they used to be Dirtwork, but now they're called Coffin. Yes, Coffin. And they wrote this album, Troglodyte, which was like, you know, hush hush, don't talk about it, never got released sort of thing. And it was so, oh my god, there are like chase scenes that happen, there's true fear, there's true horror, there's, you are locked, you can't get out, there's like demons crawling, there's people getting like, you know, it is, and there's metal, and it is like, I know I'm not a metal fan, but I could feel the essence of metal inside of this book. Like I could feel it coming out of the words. I was like, this is so metal rock star, whatever, horror, fear. It was like so scary. And there's these fans of Coffin, and they're like super scary. Oh my god. And it's like what people do and what happens to people, and like how they react to subliminal messaging and stuff. I don't know. It goes inside of people's heads in a way. And it was horrifying to think of like real people really react to things like this. The one thing I was grateful for in this one is the fact that Grady Hendrix literally made me feel like I was gonna throw up at a point, in a good way, like an October horror Halloween way that I wanted and that I was looking for. So thanks, Grady Hendrix, for doing that. Next up, number 5 in my list, Rosemary's Baby by Ira Levin. I really like this one. I give it a 5. I wanted, like, to try out a classic horror, an older horror, get, you know, really in depth on the Halloween vibes. And I feel like it gave it to me. Like, it was scary, it was creepy, it was weird, it was ew, you know? So Rosemary's Baby, obviously, most people have seen the movie. It's about Rosemary and her husband. They moved to this very nice apartment in New York. You know, New York apartments, it's part of my shtick this month. Moved to this really nice apartment in New York, and there's a lot of creepy people that live there. And Rosemary is convinced that something, like, she gets pregnant and she's like, there's something weird going on with my baby. Like, what is going on inside of me? What is this thing? And it has a lot to do with, like, in the time, like, women being looked at as hysterical, women not being believed or trusted in what's going on in their bodies, women being put on the back burner, like, what their words worth and what their thoughts are worth. And she's strong in her convictions, and she knows what's wrong with her. She knows something's going on, and people, just the unwillingness to listen, and the, like, people conspiring against someone. It was so creepy. It was downright scary. I loved it. Do I have to say much more? I feel like I don't, because I feel like that's just the book for you. It was short. It was, like, snappy. Yeah, I listened to it on audiobook, and it was read by Mia Farrow, which was really nice, you know, because she played Rosemary in the movie. Oh, what I was most grateful for in Rosemary's Baby is a classic being as good as a classic should be. That's it. The next book on my list that I read is, actually, this was the first book I read this month. This was for my book club. It's called What's Left of Me Is Yours by Stephanie Scott. It takes place in Japan, and it is about this girl who finds out that her mother didn't just die when she was a child, but was murdered by this man that, I will now explain this. So the mother and the father are married, let's say, and the father wanted to divorce the mother. So he hired someone to convince the mother to cheat on him so that he could win everything in the divorce. And the mother is then killed by the boyfriend who the father had hired to seduce the mother. Yes, it's crazy. It is, like, it says it's a legal thriller, but I wouldn't actually call it a legal thriller. It was more, I don't know, there was, like, a lot of investigation, and some people in my book club did say that it was a little too droning on about explaining everything, every detail, every aspect. But I really enjoyed it. It had love in it. It had kind of scary, like, fear of being taken advantage of. Just, like, what could happen with these sorts of things. Like, I don't know. It was creepy. And, like, do you really know who you're with sort of thing. I can't give away too much about this, but I thought it was beautifully written. I thought it was lyrical. It was her first novel. And it was very much a fall vibe, though, you know? Everything's about the fall. This is the only book I read off my TBR that I made for this month. This is it. So, good job, me. If you love Japan, if you love kind of mysteries, if you love found footage-like things, if you love investigations, you will love this. This is for you. This was for me. I gave it 5 stars because I thought it was beautiful. I was grateful that this was chosen for my book club. It's not something I would have picked up ever. It sounds like a romance. What's left of me is yours. Like, that sounds like a romance. But it was so pretty. Now we go to the graphic novels. And these probably would be pretty quick. The first one I read was Spell on Wheels by Kate Leth. And I'd seen this around for a while. People kept telling me, oh, you should read this one. You should read this one. It's like witches, and it's more like, not quest-like, because it's very urban fantasy, or like, you know, they're in the United States, present day, and there's like a technology witch. You know, each witch has kind of their own thing. There's 3 of them, and their house gets broken into, and a lot of their objects get stolen, and they kind of have to go on this quest to obtain the lost things and figure out what happened, because there's something that they can't, or like they can't put it together in their heads what's going on or why these things were taken. I thought it was really good. I gave it 4 stars. I liked the characters. I thought that the plot was pretty good. I think that most times when a series is created for graphic novels, the first one is usually a quest, a mystery, or something of the sort, an investigation, where they do this so that you can become introduced to each of the characters in kind of the world and get introduced to side characters and stuff like that. It's an easy way to go through all of that. It was good. It wasn't the best graphic novel I've read. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, give me the second one. You know, I'm not freaking out on it, but I thought it was interesting and I enjoyed it in general. So those are my thoughts on that. I was grateful for the fact that I had a nice time reading a graphic novel. I didn't get to read one last year, and it was witches, and I like witches. I like witch things. I should have read more witch things, but I didn't. So, whatever. I mean, I guess the next one is kind of witchy too, so here we go. Actually, the next 3 are, or 2 are, so all my graphic novels are witch-based. The next one is called Grimoire Noir by Vera Green Tea. I feel like this is wrong, but I'm just going to go with it. I wrote it down as green tea, and I think I thought when I was writing it that I thought it was wrong too. This one was kind of a random pickup. I was at my library, and I was just like, I want something to read, something random, and I was like, this is going to be it. So I read this one in probably like a day. It was a lot of fun. It's like this town during the Salem witch trials, I guess around then, they had found that there were a lot of like witches here, and they locked it down. So all the girls are not, most of the girls are witches, but they locked it down so like no one can leave the town. But it's kind of present day. It's very noir. Grimoire Noir, that is the title. It's about this boy whose sister has gone missing. He was like kind of the one that like she went upstairs at their house and then she was like gone. His father is the sheriff and he can't get too involved. The mother is like freaking out, crying all the time, and she is a witch where the weather is based on her emotions. Like every witch has their own powers. Boys can't be witches. Like the town is like basically flooding by the fact that she's crying so much. And the boy is trying to figure out what happened to my sister, sort of thing. Sounds kind of like I've read this before, but I really liked it. I thought it was really nice. It was sweet. It was cute. I really didn't know what the ending was going to be. I was surprised by it. I gave it 4 stars because I was like, this was surprising. It was good. It fed me in. It had really good illustration. It was like beautifully done. Yes, yes, yes. I loved it. The coloring, the artwork, everything. I was grateful for the fact that I found something that I would read very fast and cherish immensely. So my final thing is The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Volume 1, The Crucible. And this is by Roberto Aguirre Sacasa. So I gave this one 5 stars. I was kind of surprised. I've seen most of Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix, and it's okay. Like, it's good. I like it. I have fallen off towards the later seasons, but I have enjoyed it as well, on and off. So I was like, okay, I don't really know what I'm going into. Am I just going to be reading basically the plot of the show? No, you are not. It's basically the plot of the show. So Sabrina, parents are gone. it goes into like the backstory. It starts from Sabrina's like before she's born, basically, and what happens, and like the parents and stuff. And then you go into Sabrina as an older person, or like a teenager, and her relationship with Harvey and all of this, and the creepy creepy teacher, her like about to turn 16 and she has to make her pact with the devil. It was really good. It was so gory. It was so gross. Like, it was like gory. And obviously with a graphic novel, it's very in your face. And it felt so like, you know, like scary. Not scary, not exactly scary. I wasn't like, I'm frightened to be reading this outside at night or something. No. It's like more just chilling. Ew. But really good. Really good. I thought that the plot was amazing, and I will read the second one. I should probably find that because this has been out for a while. I was quite surprised though. Quite surprised at how good it was. Her relationship with Harvey, interesting. Her relationship with her aunts, interesting. Everyone was good. I liked them all. Some of our characters from the actual show are not there. It is a good amount different. Like, a good amount, as much as Sabrina can be different from all the other Sabrinas. I'm grateful in this one that it was, like, better than what I expected and not the show. So that's the end of all of my things. 9 in total. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Let me know what spooky things you read in October. I want to hear about them. I want to know about them. I want to add them to my list so I can watch them, or read them, not watch them. I mean, tell me about movies too. Movies or TV shows, because I'm all about that too. Yeah. Thanks for joining me, Moonlight Library. Be sure to subscribe, and like it. I don't know. If you like it, you could like it.